Shalum, Shalum, and welcome to this channel. My name is Symmanayah, and again I say welcome. I consider myself a servant and a watchman of the Almighty Father Yahuah, whom indeed believe that Yahuah is the Almighty One, the Most High, that He is the Aleph and the Tah, the beginning and the end. I'm compelled to believe that I was drawn to Yahuah, and as a result, He directed me to understand the dynamics, the fullness of Him reaching out, directing me, drawing me by Yahusha Mashiach, His word made flesh. By He who is the Most High Father, His word manifests in the person of Yahusha Mashiach, for I believe that they are indeed one. I believe that the Almighty Yahuah is indeed Spirit everywhere at all times, and His manifestation to walk with man, to be with man, was in the person of Yahusha Mashiach. I believe that there was indeed a sacrifice and a resurrection, and that He sent His set-apart Spirit in the name of Yahusha to guide us, to teach us, to set us free, to comfort us, to bring understanding, to bring direction. I believe that through the set-apart Spirit of Yahusha, which is the same as saying Yahuwah's Spirit sent in Yahusha's name, as it is written according to the Scriptures. And I believe that He works in us directly through His Spirit and works through us one towards another. I further believe that the original Scriptures were the inspired written word from the Almighty Father, from Genesis to Revelation. In saying that, I believe that the Scriptures, the text in itself, cannot stand alone all by itself. I believe it is wise and it is critical that we understand that we must lean on the Spirit of Yahuah sent in Yahusha's name to make alive the text, the original words. Over the years, man has tampered with the text. They have changed. They have introduced different terms and words that they saw fit. It continues to happen, and we continue to see a proliferation of different Bibles with different translations in different languages. We continue to see new and even more Scriptures rise in an attempt to find the correct and pure language of the original Scriptures. There are those who would mistakenly push and promote that modern Hebrew is the original language, and this is not true. Modern Hebrew is Aramaic influence. The pure language, the original Scriptures, believe it or not, was pictures and symbols that required us to lean on the power and might of the Almighty Father to interpret them correctly, to witness them come to life. With this said, my brothers and sisters, as we read the Scriptures, as we encounter the different translations, know this, that though man was able to tamper with the text, they cannot tamper with the living power and might, the living set-apart Spirit of the Almighty Father Yahuah. They cannot tamper with the Spirit of Yahusha working in us, through us, one towards another. My brothers and sisters are those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, and I say to you, in spite of what man attempts to do, the Most High hath pierced through their distractions and misinterpretations. I believe in the power of the blood of the Lamb, and that Yahushua Mashiach indeed sacrificed His life and in the resurrection. I believe that He indeed rose from the dead according to the Scriptures. I believe in the virgin birth. I believe that the Almighty Father did indeed manifest Himself, His word, and Yahusha. I believe that Genesis to Revelation provides many instructions and that they have been broken up and fragmented by many. Some people dismiss the so-called New Testament altogether. I believe that the true Torah, the true and complete Torah, represents the instructions from the Almighty Father. For Torah means instruction. And as people come into the knowledge of different languages, and they come into the knowledge of a modern Hebrew word, Torah, they seem to be fascinated. They seem to think this makes them seem spiritual by just saying Torah. They seem to have embraced just the 5 books of Musa, or first 5 books of Moses. And I say to you, O Yashar'al, if Torah means instructions, if Torah means laws and statutes, ask yourself, what are the rest of the words that come through scriptures? To say half Torah, whatever the different ones are trying to say, I think it's saying half Torah. To say that Brit Hashah and Old and New Testament and all this, these are attempts from man to distract and to have a gateway to give false teachings and information. Torah means laws. It means instruction. Any instruction from the Most High. Do you think that any instruction that you receive today, if you say you believe the Most High have led you to do something, and it's confirmed that it is the Spirit of Yahuah in Yahusha's name working in you, and he's telling you to do something, he's ordering you to do something, and if you don't do it, it comes with consequences. Doesn't that sound like a law? Doesn't that sound like a statute presented before you? Do not be dismayed because man have inflated the number of terms used to describe something that when you get to the seed of the matter is the same. Hear these words, O Yashar'al, set apart ones drawn by the Almighty Father Yahuah to Yahusha Mashiach. Hear these words, the laws and 10 commandments, the laws and statutes are still in effect today. And they meet with most resistance from those who do not believe because of our captivity and the cultures that have enslaved us around the world. They have instituted ways and schemes to distract us, to mislead us. They have brought about a misinterpretation, a misunderstanding of the word grace, thinking that that is a liberty to do whatever you want to do. Grace that we receive from Yahushua Mashiach merely describes the fruit of his shed blood as we seek to worship and obey him, as we seek to follow his laws and statutes, his 10 commandments, and more. And I say more, my brothers and sisters, because with every instruction, with every direction that comes from the Most High, it has equal influence as that what you read in the text. And I said everything that comes from him. Not that what we make up, not something we fabricate and fantasize. I believe grace provides us with the ability to rise up when we fall, when we stumble. It is grace that gives us the audacity through the power and might of the set-apart spirit within us that enables us to die daily as it is written in the scriptures and rise up in the fullness of the spirit and power and might of the Almighty Father, dwelling and working in us one towards another. I believe that many people find it hard to believe when someone stumble and fall, when there's a display of immaturity, that the Most High could be anywhere near. But remember, it is promised, he has promised in the scriptures, discipline and refinement. This is why the set apart ones of the Almighty Father, this is why we go through learning processes. That is a reflection of his discipline, his refining us. So before you dismiss whether the Spirit of the Almighty Father is within you, within me, within us, those who are indeed set apart, who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, ask yourselves, ask ourselves, let us ask, are we being cleaned up? Are we being refined inside and out? I believe that all this is real, my brothers and sisters. The life in the Word directs us to the power and atoning, the power of the atoning blood of Yahusha, and towards the strength of the living power and might of the Almighty Father through his set-apart Spirit, sent in Yahusha's name as it is written. my brothers and sisters. It is Yahushua Mashiach. It is through him that we are made alive. We are able to love, to forgive, that we receive discipline, and that we are provided life immeasurably. For the Almighty Father has set the plan and set the course. Let me continue with these words. I believe the final days of man is unfolding before us, with our physical extinction ahead as foretold in the scriptures. The scriptures foretell of a time that will come when these earthen vessels, these bodies, these physical bodies will return back to the dust, back to the earth from where they came, and the spirit will return back to Yahuah, the Almighty Father. It doesn't say that we go to heaven. It says we return back to him. We will be in his possession where he places us. And if you study the scriptures, those who face the physical death, who are indeed set apart, sleep, rest until the day of resurrection comes. Until the day we are transformed to see Yahushua Mashiach as he appeared before us, and we shall see him as he is, and we shall know what we shall be like. You see, I believe we will indeed, our spirits live forever. The thing is, for anyone who have been physically alive on this planet, our spirit will either go and be with Yahushua Mashiach forever, or for those that are not set apart, that are not the children of the Almighty Father, will face eternal damnation. I believe that there are true Malachim, commonly known as angels, messengers of the Almighty Father, Yahuah. I believe that they are the first wave, the first tier of the cloud of witnesses, as written in the scriptures. I also believe when it talks about a cloud of witnesses before us, as the scriptures mention such, I believe it also talks about Yahusha, the spirit of Yahusha, working in us, through us, one towards another, as we witness the actions of one another, as we act and function as iron sharpening iron, those who are walking in discipline, those who are walking filled with his spirit. I believe the baptism of the Holy Spirit, as one would say, is actually the immersion of the set-apart spirit. And I believe being filled with the Spirit and being immersed with the Spirit are two separate things. I believe without a doubt, O Yashar'al, that being immersed in the Spirit is that first encounter, the very first encounter when you become awakened to the presence of the Spirit of the Almighty Father, Yahuah, in Yahusha's name, dwelling within you, within me, within us. That first encounter, an encounter that no one can ever take away, an encounter that no one can ever say did not happen. Only you and you alone would know that, and those who are indeed also filled and immersed with the Spirit will also be able to confirm. And I believe being filled is when we are walking in obedience. You see, the flesh war against the Spirit, but there are times when we bring this flesh into subjection. I am compelled to believe this is true, O Yasharal, and we will grow to understand the difference. I am compelled to believe that an awakening nation, disciplined and refined, will be able to grow in unity and know that both this awakening nation, this set-apart nation, consists of both Hebrews, or Abrim, and Gentiles, also considered Goyim, which is other nations, who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, Yahuah. Hebrews and Gentiles who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, making up one family under the banner of Yashar'al, commonly known as Israel. And I am referencing a people, an awakening nation, a set-apart family, not, I repeat, not a geographic land. It is written that one day the children of Yahuah will return back to the promised land, and I believe that that day is vastly approaching. The scriptures inform us that those physically alive, chosen by the Almighty Father, there are those who will prove to have been chosen, that will be gathered from the four corners of the earth and return to the promised land, as it is written. That time is approaching, and preparation has begun, whether we realize it or not. Please be advised, some of us will die physically for different reasons. Some of us will be left behind for different reasons. Some of us will die for Yahusha's name. We will be killed. Some will be drawn. Know this, O O set apart nation, end time prophecies are real and they are being fulfilled. I can say with confidence that we are moving beyond types and shadows, and end times will prove to be unfolding quickly. I have mentioned on many occasions the final Exodus will bring forced migrations, forced movement. The time is now to pray, to discern, to discuss, and prepare, O Yashar'al, set apart children of Yahuah. The time is now to witness what must and will come to be. Now allow me, my brothers and sisters, to tell you just a little bit about me. I was born, like most of us, under the culture of our physical location for which we live. In other words, whatever country we were raised in, we have all been conditioned in one way, shape, or form by that particular country, that particular location. However, our parents were raised and programmed and conditioned have affected many of us. And as a result of that, we have taken on names that the majority of us know are not the names of our ancestors. During my 21st year of this physical life, I experienced something that surprised me. I was given this name, Symmanayah, not knowing how to spell it, only how it was pronounced. I sought out counsel and different ones. I sought to research, what does the name mean? I prayed and sought the Most High to be clear, to help me understand why. And I didn't know why I was given a name, but this is a name that I believe, without a doubt, he gave me. I have had many experiences throughout my life, throughout my awakening, many experiences that have proven to me that the Almighty Father Yahuah is indeed present and alive. Many experiences that have brought me to confidence, knowing that it is through Yahushua Mashiach, it is through accepting his word manifest in the person of Yahushua Mashiach, that I am able to live a life fulfilling, a life enriching with set apart instructions and understanding. I was living in the Midwest during the time of my encounter regarding this new name. I had been on a long fast during this encounter with whom I believe was and still do believe the spirit of Yahusha. I was told that one day I would have to relocate and move to Virginia. 30 years later, from the age of 21, in the year 2010, I began making preparations as I was guided, and the transition came complete in 2015. While I still use the name my parents have given me, I began to introduce Symmanayah, a name that only a small few have been told in times past. In 2015, 35 years from discovering I will have to move one day, the transition was made with me and my household moving to Virginia. Over the years, I have no doubt anyone who seeks to do the will of the Almighty Father Yahuah represents my brothers and my sisters. One set apart nation under the banner of Yashar'al through Yahushua Mashiach. My brothers and sisters, I know firsthand that I am but a man whose flesh wars against the spirit. I stumble and fall like any other, for the scriptures are true. I am not exempt. I believe that this does not stop the drawing power of Abba Yahuah working in me and through me. It does not stop me from receiving the power of the blood of the Lamb, Yahushua Mashiach, from receiving his set-apart spirit dwelling within me, working in me and in others, and working to us one towards another. I continue to pursue and draw closer to he who I believe is the Almighty Father Yahuah in Yahusha's name. I believe he directs my attention, my focus on him, and reveals much, and have revealed much. And every time I find myself questioning my position, or where am I going, or what am I doing, and I take pause, it's almost as though the Most High gives me so much more, so much convincing, so much more understanding of what he's doing in my life. And I say to him, hallelujah, hallelujah, praise Yahuah for living, guiding, and directing himself in me and in others, according as it is written, as the scriptures are made alive. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, my family, as many of us are awakening to the truth as a result of pure discernment, of which I believe is when the Spirit of Yahusha reveals and make known to us his presence and what we must, and we will be doing. During this journey, as for me, and I believe most who are among the set apart children of Yahuah, we have come across many different doctrines, beliefs, and practices, many different interpretations of scriptures and more. We continue to witness the Most High Father's name pronounced and spelled numerous ways. As I examine all different types through my research, through my prayer, through my quest for set apartness, as I researched this, as I prayed, I was compelled to believe that the Spirit of Yahusha said, discern he who fills your cup. Discern he who gives you endless water. Discern he who makes alive the scriptures, who bring about the straightness, the correctness. Discern he who does that. What name fills that cup? What name brings enrichment? What name brings life? And as for me, O Yasharal, I proclaim that that name is indeed Yahuah. I proclaim that it is Yahuah through Yahusha HaMashiach, his word made present before me. That is the name that I have found much shalom, much confidence in using, for it fills my cup up. And I say to you, any other name that someone is using, ask yourself, are you receiving the answers that you need? Are you receiving the instructions that you need? Ask yourself, if you are embracing a different name, are you getting what you are searching for in its fullness? For I believe as we march, as we walk, as we journey in correctness, as we move into set apart maturity, we will come to know the name that fills our cup, the name that makes us as a fountain overflowing for others to see. Sure, people can mimic, they can copy strategies and languages. People can change and demonstrate the art of rhetoric in ways in which entices many. But I am compelled to believe that the power and might of the Almighty Father will always provide much more than what man can fabricate, more than what man can scheme up. End times have brought about echoes of individuals crying and seeking and searching, and worried about what should be done, what must be done. End times will bring about an awakening like the world has never seen before in its existence. For these are the final days of man as we know it. End times have brought about a clear understanding of the 144,000 Hebrews, Abrim, along with the great multitude mentioned in Revelation 7 chapter, a diverse group of individuals from many nations, kindreds, and tongues, who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, Hebrews and Gentiles alike, made one by Yahushua HaMashiach. My brothers and sisters, regarding my walk, my relationship with the Almighty Father Yahuah through Yahushua HaMashiach, I was compelled to believe to follow this path. And it is this path that I know of no other direction to turn. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, in spite of all the differences, know this. As I journey this path, it feeds my spirit and my mind. As I journey this path, I am confident that there are others who are receiving what is necessary to magnify and make known and bring to light the rise of an awakening and set apart nation under the banner of Yasharal, directed by the Spirit of Yahuah, sent in Yahusha's name. End times require knowledge and knowing what is expected, knowing what must and will come to be. It does not ask or request. It demands and calls out and orders the children that are chosen to fulfill what must come to be, O Yasharal. It is not a maybe, it is not a if. Pray and watch, for the Most High will do all that he has promised regarding his children and more. I believe that there will be unity among the children of obedience. As I state these words, O Yasharal, I present to you a reflection of the things that have been empowered by the Almighty Father through me. This channel, these words the content I present. It's for you, it's for me. It is for us to examine daily. It is for us to discern whether or not there is indeed life in them, whether they line up with scriptures completely and as they are interpreted whole or not. And if they don't, discard them, purge them, pray for me, forgive me. But for the things that line up with scriptures, in whole, I'm compelled to believe the Most High Father will indeed bring proof and confidence and understanding. And out of that proof among us, the same goes for us one towards another. We will witness a unified, set-apart nation come together. Be advised, O Yashar'al, end times will prove to be the most challenging. It will bring the most extreme, humbling season man has ever experienced. End times are the days towards our physical extinction, whether you realize it or not. My prayer for Yashar'al is that we come to discern all that is being said to us quickly. I sincerely urge each and every listener to begin to discern the presence of the Spirit of Yahuah. Begin to understand what it means that the Spirit of Yahusha is indeed our teacher, our comforter, our guide. I sincerely urge us to begin to seek to discern what we must do, what tasks are given to us individually to bring us together collectively, to discern the chosen leaders of Yashar'al, led by the Spirit of Yahusha. The time is now. The time is now to strongly consider coming away from compromising fellowships, groups, and gatherings. The time is now to look at the one in the mirror and focus our attention on Yahusha HaMashiach. The time is now to come away from the things that are unfruitful, to purge the things that are wicked, to press into the focus and actions of the Most High Father. And in doing so, we will witness being drawn together. We who are called, we who are chosen by the Almighty Father to present fulfillment of his promises. We will come together. There will be surprises. Our mental and emotional states, our egos will be bruised. Our flesh will be challenged, but it will be brought into subjection by the power and might. Hear, O Yashar'al, hear these words, my brothers and sisters. Individuals seeking to do the will of the Almighty Father will be recipients of his discipline, of his refinement. We will rise up as fine gold refined in the fire. I have stated earlier, I know of no other direction to turn and will continue to pray that my life is a reflection of a servant, that my actions and my obedience prove that I indeed am a servant of the Most High. I believe without a doubt that he has called me to be a watchman before an awakening nation. And the words that I present, the actions, the deeds that I present, while in this body, it is my belief that they are indeed the reflections of a watchman. Only you can confirm whether they are or not. Only you can judge whether they are or not. I can say all day long what I believe and what I'm walking in. But unless these words are true, they have no meanings, which means such actions must be confirmed by other brothers and sisters. Such actions will be confirmed by the Almighty Father. Again, O Yashar'al, I present these words to you. I invite your conversation and your fellowship. I invite your questions. I invite the connection from you, O listener, to these words. I have begun to find myself compelled to get ready to present some words that will either prove to be real and true, led by the Spirit of Yahuah sent in Yahusha's name. To get ready to present some words that will indeed shake the very fabric of this planet and the body of Yashar'al. Words that have been given to me, I believe, by the Almighty Father. And if indeed such words will be true, they will be phenomenal and extraordinary. They will come in the power and strength and the might of the Almighty Father. And the world will be shaken. The set-apart family of Yashar'al will be shaken. Do I take pleasure in such? Am I excited? Do I think I earned the position to deliver such a message? No, I do not, O Yashar'al. There is nothing that any man can do to buy or purchase the position to deliver the message that the Most High would give him or her. We can't buy, we can't pick and choose. There are some things that are directed. There are some things that are ordered. There are some things that will come to be said. And I pray often that this particular experience would pass, that it would not be me to present such a severe message. But I say, O Yasharal, I know that there have been instructions and warnings. There have been cries and there have been response to the cries. The Most High Father, through Yahushua Mashiach, have knocked on our doors. He has provided us with much information, much protection. His hand have guarded us with each passing day. For as it is written, man doesn't live by bread alone, but every word. How many of us know that those words are words that keep us from facing violent death, violent experiences? How many of us are aware that for some, in some cases, we will experience violent death for Yahusha's name's sake? Let us awaken and realize that the life that is ahead, O Yasharal, the life that this spirit, that this inward man have ahead will live forever, for eternity, is so much greater than the experience within these earthen vessels. And these earthen vessels will return to the dirt. If we realize that, then we just may be able to endure until the end with less struggle. If we seek to lose our life for Yahusha's sake, in other words, yield into what he has said, what he has ordered, then whatever experience that lies ahead, know this, that the Most High Father has us, that we are in his hands and no one can remove us from him. So come, O Yasharal, awaken, my brothers and sisters. The days of play, the days of slothfulness, the days of laziness will end soon and very soon. An awakening nation will rise up, gathered from the four corners of the earth, in the power and might of set apartness from the Almighty Father Yahuah. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach, awake, my brothers and sisters. Be encouraged, for all that is written will be fulfilled. Our redemption indeed draws near. My prayer is that anything proven, anything confirmed to be set apart coming from me, that the Almighty Father Yahuah gets all credit, all esteem, and that he prove his words to be true. My prayer is that Yahushua Mashiach is lifted up in my obedience, in my worship, and that we indeed witness him drawing all men as it is written in the scriptures. Hear these words, O Yasharal. In closing, my brothers and sisters, if you desire to explore scriptures that confirm the words I present with a sincere mind and spirit, if you desire to discover what is ahead, what must and will come to be, what is true, if you are seeking answers, I say, come. Let us prove to be as iron sharpens iron. Let us prove to be those seeking to discern, identify, and confirm what is indeed true. Until such time, O Yasharal, prepare to witness something extraordinary, something phenomenal in the coming of days. And if I am wrong, like I said, I know of no other direction to turn. If I am wrong, then I believe soon I will physically die. I once said a prayer that I find echoing in my head each day, and that was a prayer that I would prefer that the Most High Father take me home, take me off this planet. If I am misleading individuals, remove me, for I do not want to be an obstacle. I don't want to be violently removed because I am saying things that are erroneous. And I'm reminded of that prayer, and I still hold true to that. For to die in Yahusha is gain, as it is written. Hear these words, O Yasharal. There are many among us who will deliver messages that are real, that are sincere, and the rise of confidence within the power and might of Yahuah through Yahushua Mashiach will indeed surface. Come and examine the words that reflect what has been bestowed upon me, O Yashar'al. Let us examine one another of what has been bestowed on one another. Let us identify. Let us confirm. Let us give all honor and praise to He who is the Aleph-Tah, the Almighty Father Yahuah. Until next time, O Yasharal, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.